skin, right? Broken down, 3 layers. You got the epidermis, you got the dermis, and you got the subcutaneous. Epidermis is broken down in 4 layers, 5 if you count the thick skin, which has the stratum lucidium, but we're not considering that right now. Anyway, stratum basal is the lowest layer. Stem cells here are constantly dividing, and then those daughter cells go up in the stratum spinosum. And then they continue to divide there. They add to the thickness of the overall epithelial tissue up here. Then they move on up. They get pushed up to the granulosum up here, which is where the keratin's produced. Over time, they get keratinized. Then they get pushed up into the stratum corneum, and by this point, they're dead, completely keratinized. Forms a nice water-resistant layer across the skin. You got the dermis, which is right below the epidermis, right? It's got various things like sweat glands and sebaceous glands here. Sweat glands emit sweat, which functions in cooling the body. You got the sebaceous glands over here, which excrete sebum, which is like a waxy, oily substance that protects against infection and kind of keeps the skin overall lubricated and conditioned. You've also got hair up here, and hair follicles where they emanate from. Hair is composed of dead keratinized cells stacking on each other over and over and over. And the function of hair is to just forms a cushion for your body, and also functions as an insulator, keeps you warm. You got the erector pili, which is a little muscle that causes the hair to contract, and that causes goosebumps. And every time it activates too, hair has sebaceous glands around it as well that emanate directly onto it, or excrete directly onto it, I should say. And every time that pulls it, it ends up lubricating the hair. You've got the subpapillary plexus up here, which is a little artery and vein that supplies capillaries throughout the dermis. The epidermis itself is avascular. It has no direct blood flow to itself. And so they cut off up here. You also got epidermal ridges / dermal papillae. These are like little mounds, right? The purpose of these is to form a greater surface area between the layers, between the epidermis and the dermis, to connect and transfer nutrients back and forth. And then down here, you've got the subcutaneous layer, which is the lowest layer. In that, you have the cutaneous plexus, which functions much the same as the subpapillary plexus. And then you've also got a layer of fat inside it as well. And and then also throughout here, you've also got touch receptors and whatnot that I believe they emanate Merkel cells. Yeah, we'll go with that. But yeah, there's a general cross section of the skin. Yep.